So I just recently made a video going over all the mods that I've done to my Audi Q3 so far. And then I also made a video about my downpipe. I made the mod video before the downpipe. But today I'm pretty much just going to be going over how much everything actually cost me. A lot of people like to hate and say that I'm wasting my money on this car because I'm limited in the amount of horsepower that I could possibly produce because of the transmission, which is true. I'm limited in the amount of power that I can produce, but I love my car. I don't really care. I'm not all into I need so much power. I'm happy with how much power it has right now. I'm not itching to get anything else. I love my car very much. I'm going to be just going over how much money I've actually spent, just so, you know, all the assholes online can know. So I'll start with one of the most expensive things on the car, obviously, is a good set of wheels. These wheels right here, like I said in my mod video, are Audio City USA Divino style wheels. For what they look like, they were incredibly cheap. I think those wheels, the whole set was about $1,400, which a lot of people are going to say, well, it's a cheap wheel. Quality is fantastic. Everybody loves how they look. I love how they look, so I'm not worried about those at all. And then my full Maxim Design body kit cost about $1,200 shipped, or maybe $1,300 shipped, the entire kit. I'll put a little like counter on the screen so we can count how much we're at so far. As far as my tint goes, my reflector tint, my taillight tint, my window tint, my headlights, everything, I think altogether I probably have about 450 in tints. We'll go on the higher end, we'll say 450. For my exhaust, I have the Valvetronic universal muffler. That was about 400, and then the install was a couple hundred. I'll check and I'll put it on the screen and I'll edit the price. The Acropovic tips were about 170, and getting those installed also a couple hundred because I had to fabricate the pipe because these exhaust tips don't actually exist on a Q3. We cut those holes and we made them ourselves. My downpipe, which I just got, which I'll put some sound clips right now, cost $499, and then I installed it myself, so that was free. Stage 2 to get rid of the check engine light and everything was $450. My APR open air, cold air intake was, I think, around $170. My APR ignition coils altogether were also about $150, which I'm now realizing, which I already knew don't do much except look nice, but they're also not as good as OEM. So I'm gonna run those for a couple months and then switch back to OEM. My carbon fiber mirror caps are about $150. My 21 overlays, yellow DRLs, which I talk about a lot. You can use code Q3gang at checkout for 50% off of those. Those are about 70 bucks. I think this grill was 400, this RS style grill from Canadian Auto Performance. I love it, one of my favorite mods I've done to my car so far. I think about 400, maybe 500, and then I also installed that myself, so the install was free. My coilovers, Sika Comfort Low coilovers, they were about 1,200, I'm pretty sure, and then the install for those, plus the mounting and balance of my wheels and the alignment, I think was altogether around $850. My caliper covers, which I'm hoping soon to upgrade to a full big brake kit, I think those cost about 200 bucks, those caliper covers, and then I also installed those myself, so the install for those is obviously free. My turbo inlet pipe from ECS Tuning was about $110. My turbo inlet hose from CTS Turbo, same brand as my downpipe, CTS Turbo, that was about $70. And I think that's it for the engine bay and for the outside. Obviously I got bigger tires. These are 20-inch wheels, so I got bigger tires. They're Bridgestone Potenzas. I think they were about 900. They're stretched a little bit. I mean, they're stretched a good amount. It definitely looks way better, I think, when you get a low profile tire and you stretch it. But those all together shipped were about 900. Other than that, I think that's everything for the outside and the engine bay. Inside, obviously, I did my red suede all around, which I love. I did install this myself. These I had my buddy put in. He charged me about 50 bucks at his shop. Altogether, probably spent like 40 bucks, maybe 60 bucks in the actual material. My carbon fiber steering wheel, which is probably my favorite piece of my interior overall, cost me about $400, including this on eBay, including the airbag on eBay. So if you're in the market for a steering wheel, I would definitely recommend going on eBay. Definitely way better than all the other like competition that's selling them for thousands, like on Instagram and stuff. These pedals, I definitely recommend getting them if you get an Audi. These are not OEM. The OEM ones are like a couple $100. These I think were about 60. Then my lights underneath, I have them in the front and I have them in the back. The lighting kit I think was about 40 bucks, and we installed that ourselves, and that was pretty easy. My Black Force Industries weighted shift knob here. It's obviously an automatic, but it's just a circle. I like how it looks. This was about $130. I might be wrong. I'll put the real price on the screen. Fire missile cap for the cigarette lighter, $10 on Amazon. Wonderful purchase. This was actually the first mod I did to the car. I believe that's really it. I did that really fast. I'm trying to think if there's anything I missed. I don't think there is. I think that's about it. If you want to count stuff that I put on and then replaced, then we would do my springs, my old TSW wheels, my old cat back before the Valvetronic one and before the downpipe, AFE, just cat back for the Q3. It's like the one actual cat back they make for the Q3 if you're not going to go custom or do the Valvetronic. That's pretty much it. So in total for everything that's on the car right now, the total's around 11,545, give or take. I mean, that might be a little off, it might be a little less, a little more. Not really sure. They're just kind of like rough numbers. And then with things I took off, I mentioned the springs, the old TSW wheels, and the AFE catback. I also forgot to mention my old stage 1 from Integrated Engineering. Cost, I think, around 500, plus the dongle was about like 140. And then before that even, I had my old JB1, not JB4, it was a JB1, which was about 300. So that gives us a grand total of $3,240 on mods that aren't even on the car right now. Obviously, I sold some of those, and some of them I still have to sell. So I did make, I mean, a pretty decent portion of my money back on those couple of things. So then in total, if you're going to count everything on it and not on it, the total is $14,785. Am I proud of this number? Probably not. But what I am proud of is how it all turned out and how it looks, how it sounds, and how it feels. Everybody could say as much as they want about it being slow. I'm completely aware of how fast it is. I don't think it's fast. I don't think it's slow. I think it's perfect for me, and I wouldn't change it for the world. So, yeah.